Hey guys, AuspiciousAussie here, and welcome to episode 14 of my Orlando City Building a Dynasty series. This is a bit of a fixture review, plus we'll have a live com today against the Portland Timbers, as you can see here. We'll get into the fixtures first of all. Of course, you guys saw the Montreal Impact victory in the previous episode, along with preseason. We then beat the New York Red Bulls 3-0 at home in the new stadium. It was, of course, the first time ever playing at the Orlando City Stadium. Rivas managed to get a brace. He then got injured, pretty much near half-time. Igbonanike then came on, scored 2 minutes later. They had a player sent off right at the end, but we were already way too good for them. Philadelphia was up next, another away game, 2-1 victory this time. Saavedra and Alexander getting on the score sheet for us. Apara managed to score an own goal, and once again they got a player sent off right at the end of the game. Saavedra picked up, I think, an assist, or he might have won the penalty as well. Played very well for that game and managed to pick up Man of the Match award. We then beat the New England Revolution 4-1 at home. Pretty impressive. Rivas with another brace at home. Richie Richards got his first goal for the club, and it was actually from the centre circle. I think the goalkeeper came out of his box or something like that and booted it forward, and then he basically just smashed it in. So yeah, hopefully it doesn't take too long to load, but yeah, it was pretty impressive. They got one goal through Jose Goncalves, and Jones got sent off just after half-time. But yeah, this is pretty much the goal. Richards, as you can see, the goalkeeper, came out thinking it was a cross, and just went over his head basically, and Richards scored from pretty much the centre circle. So pretty impressive goal there, especially your first one for the club. The next game was a 3-0 victory over Chicago away from home. Of course, me and Chicago have had somewhat of an interesting rivalry. Of course, we versed them on the final day of the regular season again last year, and their manager actually got sacked after we beat them. And of course, in the first season, they beat us on the final day of the regular season to stop us getting that 5th place wildcard slot in the Eastern Conference. So yeah, we beat them 3-0 here, pretty convincing. Rivas, Kalaba, and Diallo getting his first goal for the club there. Laurentowicz was also sent off, and as you can see, Diallo picked up man of the match. The next game was the New York City home game. Finished 2-2 at the end. We were very lucky to get the draw here. Despite, dominating the game, Nemec opened the scoring early on. Jack Barmby got his first goal for the club, I believe, in the 5th minute. They then went ahead through Patrick Mullins before Danny Ayala in the 89th minute managed to equalise the scoreline. And Dilly Duca picked up man of the match for New York. We then beat Columbus Crew 2-0 at home. Pretty impressive result. Diallo again on the score sheet in the 3rd minute, and Akugo, who has, found some form this season and picked up man of the match award in that game as well. We then drew 0 with DC United. No real standouts there. Akugo once again with a pretty good match rating of 7.5. The next game was home to Colorado. 3-1 victory. Kalaba Valadez with his first goal of the club, and Fafana with a penalty. The new young Ivory Coast player, and decided to take a penalty because obviously my penalty takers were all out. So yeah, that was interesting. And then we versed Sporting Kansas City away from home, finished another 0-0 draw. Apara did get sent off, however, in the 79th minute. And the final game I just played was against FC Dallas at home. Could only manage a 0-0 draw. And as you can see, we didn't really get anyone play that well apart from Saavedra and Diallo, who were the only players who got a 7 or higher. So yeah, pretty disappointing. Richie Richards got a 6.3. So I'm kind of surprised that we didn't actually concede a goal there. And yeah, that's basically it for the fixtures. As far as the competitions go, as you can see, in the Eastern Conference, we of course sit in first place. DC United are 1 point behind us, but we do have 2 games in hand over them. And we look like we could do very well. As far as the Supporter Shield, which is basically the normal league table from 1 to 20, um, yeah, we currently sit second, but we do have a game in hand over Houston, who are in the Western Conference. So if we beat Portland today, we will go on to 28 points and be ahead of them, which is pretty good. Another thing I need to mention, um, how do I look at my... Hmm. Um, sorry, let me just... Anyway, I can't find it, but we're actually now the holders of the longest undefeated streak record in the MLS. I can probably find it here, actually. Yeah, history records. Yeah, most games without losing, 20, Orlando City. That's a current record that's actually still going. Of course, the 6th of May was the previous game, I believe. If we go back here, yes, it was. It was against Dallas. So yeah, I'm currently holding that, and it's still going. So hopefully we can remain undefeated against Portland today, but I probably just jinxed it. Anyway, going into the game, the starting lineup today will be Martinez in goals, Alston at right back, Redding and Apara. Apara comes back in after his one-game suspension. Diallo, who is pretty much a wonder kid, he's becoming quite good. Probably will be world class in the future. Not to mention, I also brought in a lot of coaches right at the beginning of this season. I forgot to mention that, but I brought in about 3 new physios as well. I brought in a head physio and 2 other really good really good coaches, or sorry, physios, staff members, I suppose. And they all pretty much had 17 or higher. I think our head physio has 19 physiotherapy, so yeah, very good stuff. Trying to reduce those injuries and the time that they're out for as well. So yeah, Diallo, Akugo and Saavedra will be our 2 central midfielders today. Unfortunately, Kalaba picked up an injury as well, and he's out for a little while. Let's see how long he's out for. He's out for another 2 months, so we got Kaka out as well for another 5 weeks only. Interesting. And yeah, another thing I need to mention is, I mentioned it in the previous episode about the international players, and how we only have 9 slots, up from 8 from last season after the Breck Shea transfer or trade. And yeah, Kaka got off the I forget what it's called. Yeah, the disabled list. There we go. Got off the disabled list, and he came back into the squad registration, and obviously he's an international player, so it went up to 10, and I couldn't confirm the squad, so I had to actually let someone go, and decided to let Zat Knight go, which it's unfortunate. He had been one of my first transfers on a free, very good player, solid in the back for pretty much 2 seasons. So we had to waive him off the budget, or off the squad. And then I had to sign a replacement pretty much. So I signed this guy, Travis Brent, on a free transfer. Pretty much just a backup to the backup of my centre backs, and yeah, it's quite cheap as well, $6.50 a week. He came from the Dutch league. Obviously, he's played very, very poorly there, but he was with Heracles, and yeah, his contract had already run out, so he was just there, I guess, training with their first team, and yeah, signed him up. So got a backup to the backup, which is obviously Richie Richards, and yeah, that's it. So the bench today will consist of Bewley, Richards, Ramos, Fofana, Alexander, Simpson, and Igbonanike. Let's do this. I actually forgot to do my team talk in the previous game. I clicked it a bit too fast here. I actually clicked start match, and there's no real options I want to use here, so that's a bit unfortunate. I tend to like to stick to a few different team talk options, and I hate being limited to just those, because my players seem to not play as well for whatever reason. But anyway, enough about that. Reading wins the ball. Rivas to Barmby. Rivas' form has really dropped off recently, which is pretty much why We've had quite a few nil-all draws. We haven't been scoring goals as often. Barmby. Chacon gets in. I think that's his first game back from injury, actually. It's his first goal of the season anyway, so that's great. And he is one of our youth prospects from our academy, so he's actually playing better than Simpson at the moment, which is, disappointing as well. Saavedra, Barmby, Hugo plays it out wide to Diallo. Can he cross it? Yes, he can. Rivas. It's headed away. And I'm pretty impressed with Portland. They're a half-decent team. They're in this... Oh, Fregoso's in behind. He's got a player at the back post, but he goes himself and he almost scores. That was bad. Poor defensively from our team there. Yeah, Portland are a similar team to us. And they came into the MLS in a similar fashion to the way we did, or I guess we came in to the MLS in a similar fashion to how they did. And they've got a pretty decent supporter base in real life. Obviously, I'd say Orlando has a better one in real life at the moment. But Barmby actually scores there as I'm raving on just before half-time as well. A nice little assist by Ayala, I think it was. Might have been Chacon, I'm not sure. But yeah, 2-0 up going into half-time. Pretty impressed with that. We've managed to score 2 goals, which, again, I'm quite happy with. Because the goals have really dried up. And again, Rivas hasn't scored yet, so it'd be lovely if he could. Might look to make a sub here soon. I kind of want to get Ramos on. His stats are starting to go down because I haven't been playing him, which is very unfortunate because he really improved last season. So we'll put him on now. And we might look to bring Hugo off as well, actually. Bring Fofana on. Give Fofana a game. He's actually improving quite well also, which is brilliant. And I think Kalab is actually tutoring him as well, or he was tutoring him. Or maybe it's Alexander, I'm not sure. But I do have a player tutoring him at the moment. And yeah, so it's, working wonders. And that's pretty much full time. So nice little 2-0 victory here against the Portland Timbers. And I think that's actually a pretty decent result because they do have a half-decent team, Portland do. And there we go, guys. Full-time, 2-0 victory. Very impressed with that. Good to continue our undefeated streak, or games without losing, as it says on this game. But as you can see, it was fairly straightforward. We deserved to win. Dominated all of the stats. Possession was nice as well. And of course, that does put us back into first place in the Supporters' Shield, which is, really good because our board expectation is to challenge for the title. And our board expectation for the for Major League Soccer is to reach the conference final, which is pretty big because if you think about it, you've got to go through the conference semi-final, and then yeah, that's pretty much where you need to be at. Well, where I need to be at. So one game less basically than the MLS Cup, which is obviously the final of the whole MLS, which we won last season. Another thing to mention actually, if I go into the competitions, Los Angeles are actually coming last. 12 games played and they're only on 5 points. And they have actually got quite a decent team. And again, here they've lost. This regen here that they got in a draft 2 seasons ago, after the first season, he was an absolute beast in his first season at the club. I'll show you. He's actually the all-time leading goal scorer for the MLS at the moment. But as you can see, he got drafted 33 MLS games played for 30 goals. Obviously, it dried up the next season. He's not doing too well at the moment either. But I thought that was just crazy. He was scoring like 3 goals a game, basically. It was ridiculous. Anyway, that's going to round this episode up, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, drop a like. That'd be amazing. And don't forget to tune into the next episode. Goodbye, guys.